Hi there, fellow greasy garage dwellers. I'm Chuck. This is Up Chuck Chops. Welcome to the channel, and thanks for watching. I had a bit of a win this week I wanted to share. I had a title for this frame. If you've ever bought anything secondhand, like a motorcycle frame, the titles can be a headache if they're not just so. Well, I managed to make it so's it was just so, and got it signed off, filled out right, took it to the DMV. They were happy with it. It helps it was an in-state title transfer. So I have on the way paperwork for this frame. They were asking me questions like, I told them it was a KZ400, and the gal behind us, she's typing. She's like, it's a motorcycle. Yeah. It's not a scooter? No, it's a regular motorcycle. Is it a dirt bike? No, it's just a small displacement, full-size motorcycle. Oh, okay. And don't get me wrong, she was cool. And then, what color is it? I wasn't going to say flat black. That might have, I guess that probably wouldn't have raised any eyebrows, but I had to tell her something. And I have 3 blue tanks over there that should fit this thing, if I use them. And the last time I asked them, all I had to do was tell them the color had changed and they can update it like it's not a big deal. But you always are sitting there waiting your turn, thinking of all the things that might go wrong, or is the lady at the counter having a terrible day? Is she going to find something on purpose to ruin mine? Did I sign in the right spot? Did they sign in the right spot? I mean, it's labeled, but I've seen them messed up. Titles, that is. Another thing I was wondering. If a fella is making a bike, and say he was wanting to make a chopper, could he cut the axle plates off very carefully and then use those for the bottom of the hardtail coming together? Or would a guy just be better off to strut it and then make your strut the length to how you want it to sit? I don't know. I'm just thinking. I'm not a chopper guy, like I said in my short the other day. I wouldn't mind being one. I like choppers. I like all bikes. But I'm not in that scene yet. I might be good enough just to leave it alone, put it together and write it like it is. We'll see. The title said it had 6,224 miles on it. Now, this could just be a coincidence, but I'm thinking maybe not, because the pile of parts that seem to be off this bike, the instrument cluster shows 6,225 bikes, and then that number, that's not a good one. This one may be the end of me, but anyhow, what I'm getting at is, did somebody buy this bike? I think it was last titled and the paperwork went through in 2001. So the title said it was actual miles. Did somebody ride this 1 mile and have something break and disassemble it? Or, I mean, it could be anything, but being the numbers are that close to what the actual mileage on the title said, I don't know. Did they buy it not running and tear it apart? Because they do things like I do here, working on bikes, and it got shoved to a corner and nothing ever came of it. I mean, there's a million possibilities. But if this bike only has 6,000 and change on it, mileage-wise, that's pretty much nothing for a 1975 model. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm not forgot about the CB900. The last video made in real life was like 10 minutes ago. And you won't see it for a week, maybe a week and a half, so anyhow. Not forgot about the CB900. Work is still moving forward on it. Let's focus on this one right now. This one is kind of the dreamer stage. Since I have the paperwork on the way, I got to decide what to do with this thing. I have we've talked about, I've got another KZ parts bike. I could just swap parts over and make this just a plain KZ 400 bike. I could customize it. Some guys would make cafe racers, other guys would do it. I mean, the possibilities are endless. But my question for you is this. I'm starting with the frame. Is this a bike build? What say ye? I would be tempted to call it a bike build. I didn't build the frame. But I would think that if you're starting with a frame, it's a build. You're going to have to figure it out the whole way through. Is coming from this far torn apart, is that an acceptable term? I don't know. I think it fit. And if you don't think it would be considered a build, comment why. Tell me what's missing in the build part. I know built not bought. Yeah, I get it. If you do think it's a build, can you support that with something? Why? Build. Some guys call a build taking their stock bike and putting handlebars and wheels on it and running. And if that's what you want to call it, I'm not. It doesn't hurt my feelings if it makes you feel good. Whatever, dude. But I'm thinking for me, you know, what would I consider a build? Somewhere in between to qualify for a build, from you welding your own frame and changing handlebars. Like, there's a spot in there in the middle where it changes from you've customized your bike to you built a bike. I think starting with a frame would definitely constitute calling it a build. Anyhow, let me know what you think. Thanks for hanging out. Listen to my story. This one's on the way. I gotta get the 900 going, but we're in the dreaming stages here, folks. Thanks for joining me.